Hey everybody, Dr. Tracy here. And this week, we're going to start working on teams. So last week you were creating your game concept ideas, and this week we're going to build teams so that we can build those game concept ideas in the remainder of this semester. So take a look at the team structure page. I have given you some videos, this one and this one, about team structures in the game industry. Plus, I have articles about careers in the game industry, how to form a team, the hierarchy of a game company, building a strong team, and all of that. All of those resources are great resources to read and get familiar with. The project that we're starting now is here at the bottom, Project 3. So if you take a look at Project 3, you'll find that this project is a career analysis. So now I want you to really start thinking about, what do you want to do in the game industry? And even if you're just taking this class for fun and you have no interest in being in the game industry other than finding out a little bit more about it, just play along and pretend that you do. So in this project, you're going to create 2 to 3 double-spaced pages of word processed text and describing the job that you want. So I want you to write this like an academic paper, but also answer these questions in as much as you can. The specific position you'd like to look at, the career, how does it fit into the development of the game, what part is it, where paths, how do you get there, what kind of education do you need, what kind of tools might you use, and if you want this job, how are you going to get there? And so that's this project. You're going to pick a job in the game industry, describe it, and then talk about your plan for getting that job in the future. So stuff to know in this team structures chapter 12, there is a PowerPoint for you to review. So the structure of the team in game development is very important because the structure defines each one of the jobs. And there are a great many jobs that come together as part of game development. And you can see this picture that came out of the textbook. We sort of divide all game development companies into 2 sides of the house, the publisher side and the developer side. And basically, the publisher wants to make the biggest blockbuster game in the world in 1 week that costs $5. And the developer would like 22 years to make Tetris and get paid huge amounts of money to do so. So obviously their interests are not the same. Publishers are the ones that have the money and they finance the production of games, and they do things like marketing and testing and distribution. Developers are the ones that are programmers and designers and artists, and they're the ones that produce the titles, given that the publisher will give them money. So we're going to establish a developer team, and each person in your team will have a clear delineation of the description of what they're supposed to be doing. So in a team, one of the members of a team is the game designer. And the game designer will brainstorm concepts, create prototypes, play test, write concept documents. Hey, you just did that. You're already a game designer. They will communicate their vision of what the game should look and feel and play like, and design what levels should be. And they will work to be an advocate for the player to ensure that a game is fun and playable. The project leader is typically the person in charge of a team, and they're the main communication link. Maybe they were the person that came up with the idea in the first place, but they're the ones that are going to encourage the rest of the team to work and to get their projects done. Programmers are a key part of a game development team. They're the ones that are responsible for writing the software or using the game engines or establishing the data that will be used as part of the game, documenting the code and discovering and writing what the logic is that makes the game work. Artists build the objects that are within the game, like characters, worlds, objects, interfaces. Artists are the ones that are going to create animation and cutscene, and they're responsible for the visual appeal of a game. QA, or quality assurance, is a huge part of a game development team. And in fact, for many of you as beginners in game development, QA might be a great place to start, because QA is the area within the game development team that's going to create test plans for how to test if a project has met design specifications. Not just if it works, but if it works right and if it works the way it's supposed to, and there are no unexpected or undesirable behaviors. And if so, can they be fixed and can they be replicated? So QA is a role in the game development that is found all along the way. As things get created, quality assurance makes sure that they're created correctly. Media is another area of game development, and that includes audio, both music, the soundtrack, and also the sound effects, like walking through snow or dying or shooting an arrow or whatever. Media may also include motion capture with 3D development, and media might also be the storyline things. There's lots of jobs that fall into this area. A level designer is one that puts the finite details on each of the levels and formalizes the concepts. They're also ones that would test the mechanics. What that means to say test the mechanics is, how do the buttons work? How do the keys work? How is movement done? How are weapons used? How are items picked up? That's all mechanics. And the system is, how do they all work together for the gameplay? Another role would be marketing executives on the publisher side of the house, and their focus is on the process itself. So those that are in management are the ones that are going to fall under the role of the producer, but they're the ones worried about when the game is created, how can they make money from it? Now, as you build team, one of the most important things with a team is communication between a team and setting regular meetings. And at those meetings, having agenda and setting commitment for every person. I am going to ask you to form teams within these online communities that we've created. And in those teams, I want to see that your team has regular meetings through chat sessions or otherwise, and that you set commitment for each person in the team, and each person that has a commitment meets those deadlines, and that communication is a regular thing that can be counted on. So you'll hear more about teams. I'll send out communication, but this should help you get started on team structures. Have a good week.